provide for the end user is, do you provide any direct customer support? People contact you.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things here that we've learned quite a bit with our sites is making sure that the contact number is as prominent as you can get it if you're a local service provider for the most part. And the second piece to that is make sure that you have it's set up so that you can click to call it on a mobile device. I would probably say I use this feature probably 5 or 6 times a day, but once you get to a site, you want to be able to just hit your finger on it and have it dial. It's so easy to do, but just maybe, especially if you're a local service provider, because nowadays, like Richard said, I mean, most of the way we're going to find things is going to be through mobile devices. People are doing it now. I can tell you I do it right now, and it doesn't take any extra work to do. So like if this was a local store, this I would have it so that in the parts, top part, make sure on a mobile device that that number was right there so you can just click the call.
And we had that number on the original site, but it probably is not prominent in the spot.
You know, one of the things that is probably a little counterintuitive is people still use the phone a lot. Ask Dave, he's got phone business, right? Even if you're on the web, you use your phone to make the call to the product company or the service company, especially if you're in the B2B space, which I think most of you are. If you're selling a SaaS or a product or a consulting service, people need to talk to you. They want to know who the hell you are. Like, you're actually real people and you're local and you speak English, you know, that kind of thing. Like, oh, okay, you know, I can talk to these people. You know, I'm not going to just fill out a form and that's going to end up in a spam folder somewhere, right? So, you know, have the phone number on. I screwed up here, I didn't put it on, but good, cool. Teen Life, you guys here? Are you here? Great. So this is your original site, so comments, guys?
The first place I get kind of lost is the extraordinary amount of navigation options I have. Even just a standpoint, if it was just the standalone left-hand navigation, the number of them, I got to believe that there's a more logical bucketing of those different pages for navigation, and then come on with the top of the top navigation. I just wouldn't know how to use this as a tool.
Yeah, the top navigation, they all have different images, which is kind of interesting visually, but they're not particularly related. I mean, they're sort of, but not that clearly illustrative, and they're not the most beautiful images necessarily. And then is the summer stages, is that animated, or is that just the way it is? Is that static?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, what's a little confusing is I can see what you're doing, connecting students to opportunities beyond school. So I've got a rough idea of what you do, but then it says request a live demo. You're selling a software, or how do you demonstrate connecting students to opportunity?
That's actually not for the students, that's for the advertisers.
Ah.
So when I looked at it, I saw pretty images, and since I have ADD, that's the first thing I looked at. And I ignored the top thing, so I had no idea what it was, connecting students to opportunities. So the first, I looked at the logo, so I knew the name, Teen Life. And then I looked at the images, and I'm like, oh, pretty images. And then my eye kind of just continued down this side and ignored the rest of the text because I don't like text. I saw Summer Stage Dance, and then I just saw calendar. So like, without doing very much, I ended up over here in this corner without seeing very much. And then I kind of went back and said, oh, they have a Twitter link and they sell something on Amazon. But maybe they're book plays because they sell something on Amazon.
Yeah. So one of the things I've noticed immediately about the site when I looked at it is that you obviously hired a graphic designer to design your brochures, and then you use those elements in your web design because you had paid a lot of money for them and you didn't want to just chuck them out. So that's typical, right? You spend a lot of money having logo or identity designed or brochure designed, and then you think, well, I got to use that everywhere now because I feel guilty not using it. But like Roy said, it's pretty pictures, but they don't really mean anything, and there's probably a better way to use that.
It seems to me like the number one call to action here is for you to get people to join, to register. And it's actually, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but the only place I'm catching it is this join now. Join now to me is, that is what you're trying to get people to do, in my opinion. There's a register, it's free, and there's a join now here. Other than that, that's the biggest thing that should be the focus on. That that should be as prominent as it gets. What is the next step in this relationship that we're going to have?
Yeah. here's the redesign. I know it's a completely different design, especially using black. But if it's going to appeal to teenagers, it might want to have a little bit of teens.
What's those clothes? That's not what my previous. What are those yellow coals?
Oh, so they have a scholarship for an Indian trip. And so that would scroll through all the different summer programs in the main area. And navigation's been improved dramatically by making it a lot simpler.
Is that a photograph or is that an illustration?
It's a photograph.
I can't figure out what it is.
It's piles of spices. I hope. And then again, the calendar, if you've got events that you want to bring, you want to highlight, Roy, I'm sure you agree, if you've got events, that's where you shake hands and basically get the deals done, right?
If the primary call to action is to sign up, and I have been on the site before, where do you do that?
Well, it says join our news team here, but I don't think we even figured out.
You have a sign up now on the top right next to the
sign up,
village.
yeah.
I agree. I think that if that is, then we have to do that.
I'd still like to know what they do. Like when I get to the site, like I'm just really lazy, and I just want, like you said, I just want one sentence that says, blah, this is what we do. I design websites. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
They connect teenager stuff, which is what they had on their website.
Yeah.
Well, it's there, but maybe if it was a part of that picture, part of summer program. Love that.
Oh, Roy's running away. He's got to fly somewhere.
Apologize, but it's very interesting.
We'll see you soon. Thanks for your help. Okay, so just kind of changing the topic slightly. I went to the FedEx website recently.
Sorry.
Yeah. There are 2 pages before you get to the home page. You first have to look at this colored map. You have to scroll over it and pick the region.
Which is assuming that you know where you live.
Yeah. Which, according to National Geographic, and unfortunately most of us don't know where we are. Anyway, you have to pick the space that you're in. You click that. Then you get this one, which is another map, which kind of boils you down to the next region. And then, when you pick that, you get to the home page. And again, 15 different navigations. Not quite sure exactly where to start here. Now, who sent something via FedEx or UPS? Okay. What is the only thing you need to know if you're going to send something?
My account number.
If you don't have an account, if you just start, you're like, I've got to get this to FedEx.
The address is going to.
Where to drop it off, right? Where do I get this thing? And if you're expecting something, what is the only thing you need? A tracking number, right? So why all these different things? Why not just have 2 things? Put your zip code in so you know where your nearest drop-off is, or your tracking code so you know where your package is. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know what region you're in. I mean, it doesn't really make any difference. You can use a geolocator, which is built into the website, to tell you where you are. You can even tell down to the zip code. It might say, hey, it looks like you're in Cambridge. It could even say, it looks like you're in Cambridge Port. Okay, that's how clever the geolocators are. You wouldn't have to input that information at all. If you're not there, for some weird reason, you just happen to be jumping on somebody's IP address that's in a different country, then you can change it, but this is all that FedEx needs to do. By the way, I posted this on Twitter, and a guy found it and sent it to the CMO of FedEx. I think we should spare them the pain. They already know how painful this process has been.